My name is Carol Rogers, and I grew up in southern Louisiana, about 60 miles north of New Orleans. I work as an accounting instructor at Central New Mexico Community College, which is based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. One of the things I've really enjoyed about teaching at the college level is that I have a lot of control over my days, right? The days of the week I work. I also get to choose the classes I teach, which is unlike the real world where you're kind of given these tasks. But at the college level, I can choose which class I do want to teach. So my typical day is depending if I'm teaching online or in the classroom, is to prepare for class, right? So obviously it depends on which class I teach. I usually teach between 5 and 7 different courses for a semester, which is about 15 weeks. And I prefer to teach 5 to 7 different courses. And so my typical day starts with checking email. Do I have any questions from students? Do I have any questions from other faculty? Or our boss in the academic world is the dean. Does the dean have any questions for me, right? So those typical things that you would do at any job, as you start your day. And then I, again, prep for class. One thing that's different in academic world is that at the college level, is that I also have a lot of control over the curriculum or the materials that I teach, right? I get to have a voice in which textbook we use. As an accounting instructor, I can dictate which chapters are covered or what material in the class we stay on longer or shorter, or what topics I really enjoy. So we talk a lot about them. We always have a set curriculum of points we have to meet, but we also get to put our own twist on those. One of my main goals when I teach is always to make sure that to make the material in the textbook come to life, right? Bring it into the real world. So that's a lot having to do with, right, how do I take this material and take it into the business world and see how it is actually used in day-to-day use. So my story is that I grew up saying I would never do 2 careers. So I had 2 things I said I would never do. I would never do accounting because that's what my father did, and I would never teach because that's what my mother did. And now what do? I teach accounting. And so I grew up with, my dad was big into numbers. So we learned basic accounting, he didn't call it that, from the very start. So my undergrad degree from LSU, go Tigers, is in math and computer science. And the interesting thing there is that I had this wonderful degree. And when I went and talked to an advisor about, okay, what do I do now that I have this degree? They said the only thing you can do with math is teach. And I said, no, I'll never teach. Can't do that. So every job I got after college, I didn't really care what I got. I just needed a job. It didn't matter where I started in the job. I always ended up in the accounting department because I was good with numbers, because I liked numbers. So I was in Albuquerque working for a nonprofit. And again, I didn't start in the accounting department, but ended up there and finally said, okay, fine, I will do accounting, right? But to move up in that department, I needed a degree. So to get the degree, because I already had an undergrad degree, I went to University of New Mexico and got my master's in accounting. And from there, I went ahead and got my CPA license, my Certified Public Accountant license, and went and worked in the CPA world for several years. And one of the professors that I had as getting my master's at UNM contacted me and said, hey, would you like to do part-time teaching it was still TVI at that point, but at the community college. And I said, well, I really don't think I can teach. And she was like, oh, yeah, come on, give it a try. And so I taught that one class, and then I taught a second class, and then I started teaching full time at CNM. And so teaching is pretty awesome. So one of the important skills that I took from high school, which I'm not even sure class is still being offered, is a straight typing, right? A straight typing course. And that was like basically a required course. And so that was actually a life skill that at the time I didn't appreciate it, but now I definitely do. One of the other things that I take from high school was the instructor that I had for my math classes. So I took, because I knew I was going to be college bound, I took a lot of the upper level AP math classes. And there was an instructor there that she was just crazy. I mean, she was fun, right? She was really a presence, and she made math fun. And I still reflect back on the way that she taught and how she had everybody's attention when she was explaining the Pythagorean theorem and things that now would just make me roll my eyes. And I really try to emulate her. Be sure to ask questions, right? As you go through life, be sure to continue to ask questions. Never feel ashamed or, well, I'll figure it out later. That was what I did, and I typically never figured it out later. So be sure to ask questions. Be sure to try new things. It wasn't until much later in life did I realize that, hey, I really like teaching.